I guess I've been asked to go last, and I want to extend my thanks to you as well, as my colleagues did, both as a former class of 61 professor myself, as well as Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, where I've really had the pleasure and honor of being part of the process of nominating faculty like the faculty here for these awards. And so really having the opportunity to see what these awards mean to faculty, and really the quality of the faculty who are receiving these awards. And I think I've been asked to talk a little bit, not so much about my own experience as a faculty member, but what these awards mean, to me as a dean, and having been able to watch what they are able to afford faculty to do. And I also want to compliment you on your vision. I think this is an incredibly unique gift, and how you figured out that this was the perfect gift to give, I don't know, but probably goes to some great leadership within your group, within the class of 1961, because these really are tremendous gifts. There's an evolution of faculty over the course of their careers, and when we hire faculty, we demand much of them. We demand much of them over all their careers, but certainly when we first hire faculty, they have a lot to do in terms of demonstrating their capabilities in the classroom as instructors, their ability to engage with students and be effective. We also demand a lot of them to demonstrate the strength of their and quality of their scholarship and research. They have to compete at an incredibly high level to develop their reputation outside of the university within their peer community. So I think it's fair to say that most of the faculty that we hire spend that pre-tenure period, which is about the first 5 years of their career at Lehigh, really focusing, I would say to some degree, on a fairly narrow area of research, probably something that they did in their PhD, or maybe as a postdoc right out of their PhD, and that they have to do that because the demands for their publication and demonstrating the strength of their scholarship requires that they really become very perhaps narrow in their focus. Post-tenure, they have new opportunities in front of them. They're sort of, we've vested in them, they've vested in us. It's like they're members and partners in the firms. They're going to be with us for a long time. And we need faculty who are creative and innovative and are going to stay current with their fields and let their own research evolve. And I think you've heard descriptions of that from George and Dan and everyone here. So the funds that you've given allow faculty to take that next step and begin to broaden their own horizons, in their areas of scholarship, and extend what they do, and really lead the fields in which they're working. And it impacts not only their scholarship, but everything they do, and you heard it in the stories here, wraps directly back into the education that Lehigh students get here. Our curriculum is very dynamic. It changes with time because our faculty are active scholars. They integrate their research and their scholarship into what they teach here. It informs how they teach and what they teach, and allows us to provide and continue to provide really a very competitive education for our students. It's a competitive world out there. The faculty at Lehigh are incredibly well regarded by other institutions, and sometimes we lose our faculty to other institutions. The ability to have funds like this that you can award to faculty is incredibly important in also being able to retain faculty. And ultimately, the most precious resources that the institution has is our people, it is our students, and it is our faculty. And so, the gift that you have given is really tremendous. It means a tremendous amount to the faculty who receives the awards, and it filters absolutely right back to the students who get the awards.
So now it's your turn. You feel free to ask questions of anyone here regarding what we're doing or the nature of the professorate, and we'll go ahead.
Curious, maybe not getting the specifics, I don't know, what kind of money are we talking about? What kind of reporting back do they do to somebody, I don't know who, on what they've done with it over the 2-year period, and when do they fit it into the rest of their schedule?
When do they?
It's not an add-on. It's actually an award that recognizes one's teaching, scholarship, and service, and provides a stipend over a 2-year period of time. You still are doing everything else you're doing.
Okay, so they're not doing a specific project?
No, not project-based. It in essence is a recognition, and each of us use that money, and I think it's $5,000. $5,000. It's been a while for me, so but I think it's $5,000, and what some of it, like I used it to help pay for a graduate assistant who worked with me on designing the nature of the center. And each of us use it for different reasons. It's unrestricted funds. We can't go out to dinner, but we can use it for.
But you could, but you don't.
But we use it.
That's not the story I heard.
That's right. We use it to guide our actions and our research, and I think.
I think that it's used in a variety of different ways, not to go out to dinner, not for entertainment.
Right.
Absolutely not. It's used to, as faculty members to support their research and their scholarship, which is how people will use it to travel to an archive, a library to do research, or maybe to
Help
hire
offset.
a graduate assistant who's going to help with the research. I know there's a recipient who used it actually to build out the library resources within the department. University's got great libraries, but a lot of departments have reading rooms, and so help use those resources to purchase materials for the reading room, and that kind of thing.
So I've used it, unrestricted funds to hire undergraduates to do specific jobs for travel, as Ed mentioned, to go to conferences where you're going to explore something new, where you don't have a grant that would support your travel to that conference, but you want to learn something. You want to learn the current state of the art in an area that's completely new, right? And then the things that we have to buy to support the research are the books and supplies and software, and actually voting machines, which I bought on eBay. Believe it or not, I bought voting machines.
Professorships rotate, and so every year there's a nomination process, and nomination starts at the department level. So the departments nominate their best faculty, and these awards are for recently tenured and promoted faculty. And then the nominations come up through the dean's office in each of the 4 colleges. The awards last for 2 years. So each faculty member holds a position for a 2-year period. And then it goes on to a new faculty member. There's over 50 faculty who have awards.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a question, perhaps for the dean. What would you consider to be the peer group of universities of Lehigh, say 4 or 5? And do they offer something comparable to this funded professorship that makes them attractive?
Okay, well, we could play the game of peers.
Yeah.
There are currently like 10 or 12 different peer group lists that are floating around the university.
Just 4 or 5.
Okay. Well, I like to put us in a category with Rice University, and Duke, and
Microphone work?
Rice, Duke. We're going to be running up and down. You want to jump up here, Ann?
well, this is a game we play at Lehigh in terms of who our peer institutions are. But I tend to, and others can, because you're going to have those engineering schools, but that are obviously quite important. But I tend to put us in a class of schools that are similar to Duke and Rice and Brown, private institutions, moderate-sized institutions, elite institutions that have a very high level of research activity, but a strong engagement in teaching with students. So that's kind of the class of institution I put us in. I think all of these institutions have, I will say, funds like this. I honestly don't know if they have ones for this category of faculty in terms of faculty who've just been tenured, but almost all institutions now have some kind of funds or named professors that they can award to faculty to help them achieve their goals, but also for faculty, it's a reward and a recognition for their success and their accomplishment. And in academics, they're actually a lot of the rewards are not the same as they are maybe in other sectors of the economy. And so the fact that you can give someone a named award is quite an honor. And I think the faculty who get them, are pleased. They're all a little bit humbled by it as well. So at an institution, it is quite important to have funds of this type in order to retain faculty. Also to help them, as you've heard here, do their scholarship. Without some of that funding available, it's very difficult, especially in some fields.
Okay. Did this idea lead to any other classes doing a similar gift?
To my knowledge, there are no, and you guys may know, there are some other gifts like this that are rotating professorships. There's the Hook, but there are no class gifts that support either a permanent endowed professorship or a rotating gift award. So again, that's why, as Ann said, the vision that this class had was phenomenal. And people on campus, you'll see everyone's biography that if they are a class of 61 professor, it is prominently stated right off the bat in their biographies. I mean, it is something that people walk around with and say, I was a class of 61. I am a class of 61 professor. So, go ahead.
You can Google class of 61 professor and it's really long.
Yeah.
And everybody here is on there.
Yeah. Good. Others? Yes, sir.
How many have there been that have received?
There's been over 50.
Yeah. Over 50. Over 50. Yeah.
And will you comment also the number of those who have stayed at Lehigh? It's the number is
It's almost all of
phenomenal.
them.
Almost all.
All but I think all but 3 or 4 have stayed at Lehigh and been on the faculty at Lehigh. That's even more incredible.
And if you look at what they do, and this is, I'm singing my praise of my colleagues now, but if you look at all the major committees at the university level, if you look at the people who are doing the level of service to the university, you'll find more often than not that it's overwhelmingly by people who are in these types of positions, whether it's the Hook or the class of 61, people who have been recognized. So they're not one-trick ponies. They're not just great researchers. They tend to be people who are solid researchers, solid teachers, and have a strong commitment and passion for the service, both to their profession and to the institution. They're good citizens.
I mean, I can absolutely
And
attest to that. So the faculty who receive these awards, they're the kind of people who perform at a very high level in all the areas that we demand of our faculty. So in terms of being exceptional scholars, exceptional teachers and educators, and exceptional citizens. These are the people who chair departments and chair committees and get things done at the institution in their professions and really kind of really make things advance.
I think we have time for one more question, and then what we will do is for those of you who are interested in talking individually with any of us, we'll hang out. You may be interested in, the work that Matt's doing in terms of his ethics, or Dan's doing in terms of the materials, or talk to Ann about her future, what she's going to be doing as she's now left the deanship and gone back into the faculty role. So, anybody have one final question that you'd like to ask? Well, then let me thank you again. Thank you.